Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. This is not the battle that I thought I was going to be showing you today. I don't know if you remember last week, possibly the week before, I featured a Napoli replay, and it was a great battle. But at one point during the video I said, while the Napoli does have unusually good secondaries for an Italian ship, you probably shouldn't specialise in secondaries. Well, shortly afterwards, in the ultimate actually Jingles, somebody actually sent me a Napoli replay where they did 91,000 damage with their secondaries alone in a Napoli that very much was specialised into secondaries. So, well, what do I know? However, that was the video that I was planning on showing you today, but then the game updated and I could no longer actually watch the replay. Oh well. Which is why instead we're watching this. But don't worry, this is good too, for this is none other than Maltese Knight. Maltese Knight, as the name would suggest, comes from the island of Malta, and he regularly streams World of Warships on Twitch. Link in the video description to his Twitch channel. Today, he's playing the mighty Trumpwagon, the USS Missouri. For some reason, it doesn't matter what political leanings you have. Anytime you mention Trump, you catch shit from both the left and the right. But the reason why the Missouri is known as the Trumpwagon is that it basically prints its own money. Interpret that whichever way you like. But no one is ever going to go short of credits playing the USS Missouri in World of Warships. This thing, well, word of explanation required here. It used to get a credit modifier, an absolutely insane credit modifier. I mean, it wasn't unusual. Long before they introduced things like credit boosters, it was not unusual to earn at least 1 million credits per battle in this thing. With a credit booster these days, you'll be earning multiple millions of credits per battle, regardless of whether you win or lose. The thing is, I think the Missouri was the first... I'm pretty sure the Missouri was the first ship that they... Oh, shit, that's going to leave a mark. Oh, yeah. 16-inch super heavy armor piercing. US Navy. Accept no substitutes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Missouri was the first ship that they introduced into the game that could be bought for free experience. And I believe the initial price was 750,000 free XP. I thought nobody's ever going to earn that much. Well, a lot of people did. Yeah, the ship was basically there as a sort of experience sink for people who've been playing the game a long time and had all of this free experience lying around that they couldn't do anything with. They severely miscalculated just exactly how many people that included. So this ship got snapped up. Oh, some homing torpedoes. This is going to be ouchy. Oh yeah, that was very ouchy. Oh well. Look on the bright side. Now his guns are just firing even faster. So that activated the adrenaline rush skill. Anyway, move on a couple of years. The Missouri wasn't available for free XP forever. It was eventually removed from sale, and then they introduced another free XP ship. I'm not sure, it might have been the Mutsu, and the price went up to 1 million free XP, but I mean that didn't stop people either. Not the Mutsu, sorry, the Musashi. Anyway, whatever it was, they put the price up. They eventually wanted to put the Missouri back into the game, but they didn't want it to have the same crazy unbalanced credit modifier. They just wanted to make it a regular premium. But they couldn't change it without also affecting all of the people who already owned the Missouri. So Wargaming being Wargaming came up with a, let's call it, unique solution. What they did was that they removed the Missouri's credit modifier, so that anybody who bought them technically new, although actually just the old premium Missouri, wouldn't get the credit earnings per battle. And instead they put in a repeatable mission for people who already had the Missouri, who got it with the crazy credit modifier. That would have the same effect. I'm making air quotes here, you can't see it. The thing is, it didn't have the same effect. It didn't even have remotely the same effect. They promised that your credit earnings wouldn't change. You know, for existing Missouri owners, not the people who were buying the new premium Missouri without the credit modifier. And we're not talking here about a reduction in credit earnings that people were required to sample hundreds of games and then compile a graph showing the previous credit earning with the current credit earning and narrowing down the fractional difference in what you used to earn and what you now earned. No, you could tell straight away just by playing one battle in the thing. It wasn't even close to earning the same amount of money, which left the community asking two related questions on the whole subject. Were Wargaming just lying to everybody and thought that people were so stupid that they just wouldn't notice such a massive drop in earnings? Because you would have to be an absolute idiot to not notice the difference in money that your pre-patch Missouri was earning compared to what it was earning post-patch. And if that's the case, then Wargaming were a bunch of idiots, because obviously people were going to notice such a blatant reduction in earnings. Oh, hang on. Let's see what these shots do. Oh! Oh, there it goes. Yeah, that one's going to leave a mark too. There's his first kill, 111,000 damage. Oh, and he's caused the flood on the submarine that he was depth charging. Anyway, that brings us on to the second question that people were asking Wargaming. Oh, hang on a second. The flood damage on the submarine is continuing to tick over. The submarine's damage control must be on cooldown. You can see the oil leaks. He's going to hit him with more depth charges. Got a fairly good idea of which way he's going. Yep, he's turning. Oh, he's got him. Kill number 2. Only another 6,000 damage out of it, though. I mean, submarines don't have an awful lot of health to begin with, but kill's a kill. Anyway, what we talk? Oh, yeah, the Missouri. So either Wargaming would basically lying to everybody and thought that everybody was too stupid to notice, or they're completely incompetent and they didn't know, or couldn't tell the difference between 1,000,000 credits and 750,000 credits. Of course, there's no reason why both of these statements can't be true at the same time, and it might explain the pricing of some of their premiums, but I'm getting slightly off topic here. The point is, they got caught out, whether they were lying, being idiots, or potentially both, and they were forced to adjust the credit payout just for the people who originally got the Missouri with free XP when it was available as a free XP ship, in order that they weren't suddenly out of pocket on the ship that they had purchased. Now, I don't know which version of the Missouri Maltese Knight has, but I suspect, because this is definitely not his first rodeo, he's been playing World of Warships a lot for a very long time. He is exactly the kind of person who would have had a couple of million free XP stockpiled when this ship became available, so I suspect this is probably the original version of the Missouri with that monster credit earning coefficient. The other unique thing about the Missouri, well, not exactly unique, although it was at the time the ship was introduced, is that it's a battleship with radar. Actually, now that I come to think of it, there are a couple of other unique features to this ship, some of which it still has. Like, for example, if you have a look at the weather deck on the port side, when you're in the, I mean, you could probably do it in battle, but you've got more important things to be looking at. But if you have the ship and you have a look at it in the dockyard, on the port side of the weather deck, just below and behind the bridge, there's a big mahogany wooden table. This is where the Articles of Surrender were signed by Japan at the close of World War II. Oof, he's just bitch-slapping these enemy cruisers into the middle of next week today, isn't he? But yes, the final surrender declaration was actually signed in Tokyo Harbour on board the USS Missouri at the close of World War II. And as a reference to that, the table that the surrender was signed on is actually modelled on the ship. There is something else that was modelled on the ship, but now is no longer. Because when you got this ship, you also got a special commander. And I use special in every sense of the word, for it was none other than Steven Seagal. See, this was a callback to the movie Under Siege, where Steven Seagal played Casey Ryback, a former US Navy SEAL Chief Petty Officer who'd been busted, and as a result could only hold a certain limited number of positions within the US Navy. And then a bunch of terrorists take over the ship, Tommy Lee Jones puts on a rock show, Erica Laniak jumps out of a birthday cake with her titties on display, and Steven Seagal runs around stabbing lots and lots of people, and you have a movie. And you could get Steven Seagal as the captain of the USS Missouri. And again, when the ship was in port, you could have a look at it in the dockyard, and you would see a cook coming out of one of the hatches onto the weather deck, wandering around the upper deck and then wandering back in, as a reference to the Under Siege movie. There were a couple of things about having Steven Seagal as the captain of the Missouri, however, that Wargaming either hadn't anticipated or just didn't care about. The first and funniest was the quality of his voiceover. Anybody who's seen a Steven Seagal movie in the last 15 years, well, first you have my sympathies, but secondly, you'll also know exactly what I'm talking about, because he just mumbled his way through the whole thing. He clearly didn't give a shit. He was just like, yeah, here's the voice lines, now give me my money. The complete and total lack of interest that the man had in doing anything resembling a professional job of recording and delivering these voice lines was blatantly obvious and absolutely hilarious. In fact, in some of his recent movies, he's so bad, and bear in mind that he's a native English speaker, okay? You know, he's American, but his voice acting is so bad that they have to hire a voice actor to dub his lines, to dub his English into understandable English so people can actually understand what his character's supposed to be saying. Although, to be fair, this is at least consistent with the effort that he puts into the rest of his, let's be generous and call it acting in his recent movies. Generally speaking, a lot of the time, if you're watching a Steven Seagal movie and you can see him doing anything other than sitting down, it's a body double. I'm not joking. Anyway, moving on swiftly. That was only one of the problems that they experienced while getting Steven Seagal to do the voiceover work for the Steven Seagal captain of the USS Missouri. The other problem is that he's a terrible human being. He molests women. He's just... I mean, this is all a matter of public record at this point, so hopefully I'm not going to get sued. And eventually, the guy just became so notorious they were forced to remove the captain from the game, which honestly I think was a tragedy because he was hilariously bad. There's a YouTube channel I watch called So Bad It's Good, a guy called Jason Brandt who just sits down and watches terrible movies. And, most of them are Steven Seagal movies. Oh, this is going to hurt though, isn't it? Oh, that poor old Masashi. Switch to the armor piercing. Switch to the armor piercing. Yep, there's all the fires. He's ready to fire again. The Masashi is showing no indication of turning. He's got the high explosive ready to go. He's going to switch to the AP, surely. Oh no, oh lordy. Yep, he's switching to the AP. The Masashi is forced to broadside or run into the island. I think the Masashi should have probably chosen to run into the island. Here it comes. 9 super heavy 16-inch armor piercing shells. Boom, headshot. Oh, we all saw that one coming a mile away, didn't we? That was a paddling of epic proportions. That's 251,000 damage done. Despite this, the team are still losing by 100 points. The most obvious reason being that they've only just managed to take their first cap circle, but also, and not unusually, the enemy team have managed to sneak an extra carrier in, haven't they? There are carriers in this battle, but Maltese Knights team only has 1. The enemy team have 2. Because the Delaware, of course, is a hybrid battleship, so the enemy team have 2 aircraft carriers. Will the Warships matchmaking? Working as intended. Maltese Knight's going to see what he can do to redress that particular imbalance, of course. He's got both of the enemy carriers in sight. He's still got the armor piercing loaded. Oh, they've just lost their Johann de Witt. They're now even further behind. What's going on? Kind of miscalculated the lead on the Parseval there. Who to shoot at? The Parseval or the Delaware? The Parseval is given more of a broadside. But... I mean, he's not guaranteed citadels here. Because, you know, aircraft carrier. Ooh, what's the friendly submarine doing engaging 2 carriers? Are you out of your mind? Carriers get automated anti-submarine warfare defences. They don't even have to know you're there in order to sink you. And the Parseval's taking care of the sub. Although the Halland has managed to get a kill as well. So it's a mostly points neutral exchange. He's switching fire to the Delaware here. Primarily, obviously, because, well, the Halland's managed to take out the Parseval. But also, he's more likely to actually get penetrations rather than over-penetrations, because the Delaware is an actual battleship, just with a flight deck, and it has battleship armour. So it's more likely that he's actually going to do some damage, although now it's angling away. High explosive it is. Here come the Delaware's attack aircraft. The problem, of course, with firing high explosive aircraft carriers is that they get automatic damage control too. And it lasts an entire minute, so it's virtually impossible to sink them by setting fires. The reason for all of this automated anti-submarine warfare, automated damage control and better damage control and so on and so on, and I'm not making this up, by the way, I heard this directly from one of the senior developers at World of Warships, and this was in person, you know, speaking directly to me. The reason why aircraft carrier players don't have to worry about their consumables, unlike, for example, people who play the USS Worcester with all the consumables and they have to manage them themselves, the actual reason is because the World of Warships developers don't think that aircraft carrier players are smart enough to be able to manage a couple of consumables and their aircraft at the same time. I am not making that up. That is the actual reason. Now, aircraft carrier players, before you get upset, well, before you get upset at me, I'm not saying that you're dumber than the rest of the player base. I don't believe that for a second. But Wargaming do. Enemy team are still in the lead, by the way, by 200 points, even after the loss of the Delaware, and even after Maltese Knight himself just flipped the cap circle up here at Charlie. Let's see what we can do about that, because there's a Kraken Unleashed on the table here. And, yep, there it is. Kill number 5. 309,000 damage done. Here's where we have a bit of a problem, though, because the only things left on the enemy team are destroyers. And battleships, even battleships like the Missouri with radar, traditionally not that good at finding destroyers, which means there's a lot of heavy lifting that needs to be done by the surviving destroyer on the team, the Halland. Or there would be, if the team didn't still have a Yorktown. Which is really bad news if you're the only things left alive on the enemy team, and you're relying on stealth for your survival. Oh, it looks like they're going to get the Halland, though. Yeah. How much damage can the Halland do? Not enough. Oh well. I don't think he quite got the shots out on the Östergötland while it was still target locked before it went undetected, so it's a bit of a lottery as to whether or not any of these 16-inch high explosive shells are going to hit, and it doesn't look like they did. Enemy team can still win this. The Yorktown's doing as much as he can, dropping patrol fighters and desperately trying to locate the 3 surviving enemy destroyers for the 3 battleships on the team. You've got to be very, very nervous at this point. The question is the Östergötland going to attempt to get a torpedo kill on Maltese Knight here? And is he aware that the Missouri comes with radar? Let's find out, shall we? Having the radio position finding skill will be useful here, and clearly somebody on the enemy team has, because you can see next to his spotted indicator, the indicator that he is the closest target to at least one enemy, and it's probably the Östergötland. This could be a kill. It is a kill! Kill number 6! Yep, there are the torpedoes. I think he's okay, actually. Yep. Nice battleship-sized gap. There goes the radar. There's the Östergötland. Now, it doesn't have smoke, which wouldn't help it when it's radared. And the Missouri's pretty fast. I mean, it's not as fast as that particular Swedish destroyer, but he just needs to keep him lit up. There's the second set of torpedoes. There's the fire. Oh, is it ticking? It's not. He's used the damage control. He just has to keep him spotted. The radar's going to last for another at least 10 seconds, but he's being shadowed by aircraft anyway, so there's no way this guy is getting away with anything. Can he get the guns reloaded and claim kill number 7? Radar is still up. The shots are out. This is going to be a kill. Yeah, there it is. Kill number 7. 317,000 damage. There's just one, and that's it. That's enough. They didn't even need to catch and kill the final enemy destroyer. I'm not sure if it was the Halland or the Shimakaze, but it doesn't matter. Whoever he is, he survives to run away and lose again another day. That's 7 kills, 3.3, nearly 3.4 million credits. and 317,000 damage done for Maltese Knight in the Trumpwagon. Register your complaints in the comments section below, regardless of which side of the political fence you stand on, because every time you mention that man's name, somebody's going to get upset. Anyway, Maltese Knight in the USS Missouri. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you want to see more like this, then feel free to check out his Twitch channel linked in the video description. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.